Well, this is it. It's been a good run, and I've had a great time on this show, being the host, talking to some interesting people, and promoting all of the awesome things happening around campus. But as they say, if you love something, you've got to let it go. We are spicing things up a little bit today, and I will actually be the final guest on my own show. My fantastic crew will take turns asking me hard-hitting questions and grilling me about why I cheer for the superior sports program in the Commonwealth. How do I know that? Well, since this is it, I think it's a good time for me to be completely honest with you all. We actually filmed this part, the monologue, after I do the interviews. I hope this isn't super groundbreaking and you'll still go back and watch your favorite episodes, but I wanted to get that off my chest before I closed out the show so it wouldn't weigh on my conscience for the rest of time. That being said, for the last and final time, enjoy the show.
Hello there, human friends. My name's Terry. I live out here on the edge of the Moorhead Turtle Walk. Now, I know most folks don't stroll this far. You're all up there admiring the creek or taking selfies with my cousins near the trail signs. That's okay, I get it. But I just wanted to say, if you happen to drive past, maybe glance my way. And a wave? Well, it makes my whole shell shine.
Welcome to the show. I know I'm sitting over here, which might make some of you a little uncomfortable, but like we said earlier, I'm the guest today, and here's our host, Ansley.
Hello, Donnie C. I have a few questions for you with it being your last show. Starting off strong with the question everyone's wondering. How do you feel that this is the last Late Late Show?
You know, there's a mix of emotions that go into it. I'm excited to, about what we've produced.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy with how the staff's done and how we were able to work together every week to, create something so memorable that I'm sure people will be talking about for years to come. But I am also a little bit sad that it is now coming to an end. I've enjoyed coming in here every week and chopping it up with you guys, and won't do that next week.
Yeah. Man, it's going to be sad. With your experience, your newfound experience as a host, how would you compare yourself to some of the legends of our time, Jimmy Kimmel, etc.? Where would you put yourself in that realm of talk show hosts?
Out of respect to them, I don't know if I really want to put them in the same boat as me.
Gotcha.
I just feel like I was able to take this to a whole different level, really, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Agreed.
I put myself right below Letterman, but right above maybe Corden.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we have a pretty wide variety of people here to interview, but if you could go outside of Moorhead State, global.
Okay.
Who are we bringing on the show?
Oh man, that's a really good question actually. I think if I could bring anybody onto the show, you know what? This is kind of a wild answer, but Steven Yeun.
Okay.
I'd bring him on the show. He's a pretty phenomenal actor, and he's in a lot of stuff still these days. So, be like, dude, Steven, how are things?
How are things? I like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have for right now.
We're gonna fade to black, but don't go away. We're gonna literally be right back. And like I said, we were literally gonna be right back, and here we are. We're back. We've switched out our host. Now we've got Josh on the show.
So, Donnie C. What's it been like having your own show at Moorhead?
It's been interesting. More people watched it than I honestly expected to, and so that was kind of cool because then people would be like, "Donnie, I saw the show," and at first I was kind of embarrassed about it, but then I kind of just grew to accept it, and I've had a lot of fun with that. So.
Honestly, anybody could say, walking the streets who've seen the show, that you are a great host. I personally think that, so you're doing a solid job, and it's been a pleasure working with you this whole semester.
I can say the same about you, Josh. I appreciate it. Thank you.
With Cinerama Rowan #2 coming up, everybody's got projects that they're working on, and I know you have one as well.
I do.
What's your biggest highlight of filming your project? Without giving away spoilers.
Honestly, the team that I'm working with on that is also really awesome. they're all pretty well equipped when it comes to working the equipment, and they all have good ideas about like what to do. And it's been a nice collaborative effort getting shots together and coming up with locations and different ways to just like piece it together. So that's been a lot of fun.
No.
Yeah.
Is there anybody, actor or director that you look up to in the business that you could say you model your work after?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know, I watch a lot of different directors. It's hard to just point at one that I feel like is very inspirational. I think probably my favorite, just because of like his mind-bending stuff, would be Nolan. But to say that I'm inspired by somebody, I don't think so. But that's a good question.
Thank you.
That is all that we're gonna have for now. But we do have a segment with coming right up. So enjoy that.
Hello, welcome to Captain Cinema's Entertainment Explosion. I'm your host, Joshua Smith, where we make entertainment shows for you, by us, and we hope that you enjoy them. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Daniel Pearl, who is the cinematographer of the 1974 and 2003 remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Also with me is my friend Elijah Viveros. He is going to be our guest along with Daniel to talk about Texas Chainsaw. That's what today is about. Horror in general. So Daniel, I will start off the show by saying hello.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Doing good. Doing real good.
Yeah, happy to be here, and always interested to talk to young filmmakers, the future. So.
Thank you. We do try. We do try. We're learning every step that we take, and we're really trying to make a difference in the film world and try to bring our art to the screen as well. So.
Crazy times in the film world.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Very different from the majority of my career, but it's changed a lot. Anyhow.
So I guess I'll start off by I'll have Elijah ask his question first, and then I'll ask mine next. So Elijah, what do you got for us?
So I enjoyed both the films, and I was curious as to if you liked the 1974 or the 2003 better when you filmed it.
All right, that's a very interesting question. I like both of those films quite a bit, and I tell people that haven't seen either, although it's rare to find somebody who hasn't seen the original, but I tell people that haven't seen either to go ahead and watch them both because they're so different from my approach, right? I mean, everything about my approach on the remake was an intentional flip of what I did on the original. And that's a big reason why I was hired. So I have to say that I like both films. I definitely think that the original is the best film I ever made. And I think that the public agrees with that. And, you know, y'all are filmmakers, and you start out, you want to be a filmmaker, you have an idea, maybe an urge, you have a desire, an urge, a passion to make films. And then once you've made one or a couple, you go, oh, it'd be nice if somebody saw this. Well, imagine the gift to have everybody see it. I mean, it's incredible. It just set me up for the rest of my life with the confidence that, I made a film that everybody photographed a film that everybody thought was the greatest. And, really what's better than that? That's really, I tell people all the time that the attaboys and the people coming up and tell you that's the greatest thing, you killed it. I mean, there's no better drug than that. That's as sweet as life gets when everybody comes and tells you. So obviously, where I hear the most props, people is the original. Now, however, at the same time, I think that the remake is possibly the best photographed picture I ever did.
Yeah.
I will say though that answer actually segues perfectly into my question, which was 1974 film is a classic. You can't beat it. But I will say the 2003 version, I just loved how you captured misery, and that just stood out to me a lot. Like I felt the misery of those characters on screen, and it looked, even though Michael Bay didn't want it to look dirty and grungy, it came off looking dirty and grungy the way it needed to be.
I shoot that. I'm a bit of a dirty shooter. I don't shoot things too terribly polished. They got a little bit of an edge to them.
That's exactly why I like
me for that. I'm going to give you 2 pieces of advice, and they apply for almost every position, but they're certainly applicable for cinematographers. And the reason it's a little bit different for cinematographers, the minute you get the job, that's in your head. And even though you're not working, it's all you think about, because that's all you want to do is make something else great. Me, I've had that drug. I've been told that I've made the greatest film ever. Every time I shoot something, I want that again, right? So, but here's what I want to tell you, there's 2 things.
And say thank you, Elijah, for joining us on this wonderful final show for the Captain Cinema's Entertainment Explosion.
It's a pleasure.
Daniel, thank you for being our special guest today.
Space Trek provides a fully immersive, aerospace, career-connected experience that empowers young women to make decisions about their futures. We've expanded both Space Trek and Space Prep to West Virginia and throughout Kentucky. By doing this work, we are inspiring the next generation of students to pursue aerospace degrees and careers. That's how Space Trek builds the aerospace workforce in Appalachia.
As you can see, we've switched out host once again, Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson in the driver's seat.
Yeah, so I am not Donnie C, but I'm sitting here with Donnie C on the Late Late Show with Donnie C. So I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is, like, you've been aware of many hats this semester. You've obviously done the show. You've also been on News Center as a fill-in role. How's it felt to do all that and balance it with making your own film as well?
You know, it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy just kind of being in this studio, honestly. Like, I think that that's just kind of a fun experience. I think that's what I want to do for a career after this. So just like whenever they're like, hey, we need you to come anchor, we need you to come, do sports, do weather, I'm always down for that, just because I feel like the more experience that I can get being in and around this kind of environment, the better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even for our short film, which, you guys will see eventually, we came in here and we filmed a couple things using the studio lights, and that was a lot of fun, so.
Yeah, so be more specific. Like, what do you want to do after you graduate?
I know that I want to work on film sets, but I can't say that I have anything in particular that I'm like super like I don't necessarily want to work on lights, but I would work on lights.
Yeah.
I'd work with like the camera, whether I'm like just sitting there pulling focus or if I'm like the cinematographer setting up the shots, making the calls, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd hold a boom, I'd do any of it. I'm not really picky. I just think that I like being in this environment and I'd like to continue doing that.
Yeah. So there is an elephant in the room between just you and me.
Okay.
I'm a UK fan. You're a U of L fan.
Oh yeah.
So just what made you become a U of L fan of all things?
Well, I grew up in Louisville, so that is a big reason why. My whole family, they're all U of L fans. At least on my dad's side, they're all U of L fans. My mom's side does have quite a bit of UK fans, misguided UK fans. But the biggest thing that really made me a U of L fan was when I was a kid and I was still living in California, because I moved out to California for a little bit. That's a whole can of worms that we won't get into right now. But I remember I was watching a football game with my parents, and Trent Guy ran it like 50 yards or something for a touchdown. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. That was like the first football game that I really watched. And ever since then, I was a big Trent Guy fan. If you know who Trent Guy is, it's good ball knowledge. But I do think that's all we've got from Matt. However, we're going to fade to black and be back with yet another host. So don't go anywhere. I'm a man of my word. We're back, and once again, we've changed out hosts. We've got John.
Good to be here. So I wanted to ask you, what has been your favorite production you've been in, like in your time here at Moorhead, or anything?
Okay,
really?
I was gonna say, if we go all time, I can really do a throwback on this.
Okay.
So when I was in 6th grade, throughout my middle school career, I was in drama classes. And I would say that my favorite production that I've ever been in was we did like Greek mythology plays, and we did what'd they call it? It was Bellerophon and Peggy Sue. It's supposed to be like Bellerophon and Pegasus, if you're familiar with that Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And I was Zeus. The only thing I had to do was stand on a ladder and throw a lightning bolt at somebody. But when I did it, you know, everybody kind of laughed at that, and I thought that was awesome. And
Oh, yeah.
from that moment on, I was like, you know what? I think I wanna be an actor.
Well, that's awesome. That's a really great story.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite movie you've seen recently?
My favorite movie that I've seen recently, man, that's tough. Can I do like within the past year?
Sure.
28 Years Later. I think that movie's phenomenal. You know, you go into it expecting like this big zombie-esque movie, but then it's really like a very powerful story about love and sacrifice. And I thought it was beautiful. I watched it with my parents, and I wasn't sure how they were gonna feel. And at one point, like I looked over, and they were both crying, and I was crying, and I was like, "Wow, this is a really good movie." I like movies that make me feel emotion. You know, I want to laugh, I want to cry, I want to feel that whole range. And I feel like that movie did that for me.
That sounds pretty good. I haven't seen them. I heard 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later were
Yeah.
both really good. Haven't seen them, but I've heard those are good, and I heard 28 Years Later was pretty good.
You know, Weeks Later, not the most phenomenal film I've
Really?
ever seen. 28 Days is good. You know, it's got Cillian Murphy. It's hard to go wrong when he's on the screen. I'm not gonna lie. And then honestly, I didn't really love 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which came out like 6 months after 28 Years Later. And I think like the advertising on it was all pretty bad. Everybody thought it was the same movie, just like an extended version. It was a whole situation. But I'm excited for they're supposed to be making a third one.
Really?
Hopefully they still do it. The second 28 Years Later, like didn't perform the best, but we'll see what ends up happening.
Okay.
Yeah. Great questions.
Oh yeah.
I do think that's all we've got. We're gonna go to one more commercial, and we will be right back for just a second.
It's time to take your game to the next level at the MSU Esports Lounge. With top-of-the-line equipment, you'll be changing the game. Featured in the Esports Lounge are 10 gaming stations, a PS5 and Xbox Series X, and 2 Nintendo Switch consoles for loads of fun. You can also get your live stream on in the streaming room. There's something for everyone here at the Esports Lounge. Come join the fun in ADUC Room 252.
Unfortunately, that is all we've got for today's episode and for the show in general. I want to thank those of you that have tuned in every week to watch this craziness for doing just that. And I also want to thank my crew here for making all this possible. It was a lot of fun. Wouldn't have been able to do it without them. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.